The secret to sewing projects and clothes that look expensive has very little to do with the best fabric or most expensive equipment, and it can often start with your sewing pattern, specifically before you even cut the cloth. The things that you can do and the steps that you can take for added accuracy and a better fit. So here's 3 professional and yet super easy hacks, plus a bonus coming right up. So, it won't come as a surprise to you that accuracy is key when we're working with patterns. You have that through balancing your notches, aligning everything, making sure there's no twisted seams. But before we've even gotten there, it's really important that if you're anything like me with folded up patterns in your studio space, that we work from a flat pattern. And so don't restrict your iron to just fabrics. You can use a dry hot iron and run it over your pattern pieces ever so quickly. In fact, to be honest, I seldom even use an ironing board. I'll just kind of have that on my table. And before I do a lay plan, before I fix it onto my fabric, I'll just make sure that all the creases, all the folds are ironed out of it flat. This is going to avoid any discrepancies of accidentally pinching out a millimeter here or there, or worse, a little bit more. So you always want to be working from a really accurate starting point. And I know that sounds very basic, but you'd be surprised at how many people skip this step, unfold a pattern and just try and pin it on. So dry hot iron, incorporate it into your creative process. Just give it a quick once over. You should also be pressing your fabric. We just don't want any creases that could yield inaccurate results. The second tip is to extend your grain line, if it's not done so already, along the longest length of your pattern piece. This is going to really help you when you come to lay out your pattern pieces on your fabric and pin to the grain line. So let me just show you how to do that. It is easier with a pattern master or a pattern cutting ruler of some description, but I'm going to bring this in and I'm just going to align that to the existing grain line. So I'm lining up my ruler markings here to the existing grain line. So in fact, I can come in a little closer there because I'll go to the deepest part of my curve and I can just extend that. I'm copying the exact same trajectory and I'm going to extend that grain line. So I've just shifted that over and I've extended it across the full length. Now, what this allows to happen is when we come to place it on our fabric and align it to the grain line, instead of taking a reference from this very short grain line here, and we can go up there. So that is actually, according to the shorter grain line, equidistant from the selvage edge. So on that principle, my grain line would be straight. However, if I start to measure from my longer line, and that to the edge is 29 by there, and I'm just going to anchor it in with a pin, 29 centimeters, but I come over here. This is actually very easy to be thrown off and twisted off. So right at the end over here, this is actually now 29.5. So I know, even though it's extremely minimal, and again, if I come back and measure my short one, that's 26 to 26. According to my short grain line, this is straight and this is accurate. By extending my grain line and measuring from the one end that I've anchored, which is 29, to the other edge, all the way over here, now that I've got a long grain line, that is now 29.7. I know that this full pattern piece would have been inaccurate, and that is what's going to end up creating twists. Your grain line is such an important marker of your garment. It's going to help it hang correctly. It's going to help the balance. And so now, because I've anchored it with a pin, I can come back up here. I've just moved that in ever so slightly. I've reduced the excess. This is now 29 centimeters as well, and I can anchor it that edge too. So you would not have had that accurate read simply by working off a shorter grain line. So make sure, if applicable, if your pattern hasn't already done it, you are extending your grain line along the longest part of your pattern piece. It will absolutely help you align your grain. The final tip is to walk your pattern. Now this involves pivoting your pattern pieces and just ensuring that the notches align, that all the kind of important balance markers align. However, it's really important that before we do this, we locate our seam allowance, because it is the stitching line that is the accurate marker when we come to construct our pattern. And so to do this, you just want to take note of what seam allowance is potentially included in your pattern if your stitching line is not already detailed. So on this here, the ruffle tee, it is 1 centimetre. So what you'd want to do is just measure in 1 centimetre from the edge all the way around. Now again, much easier with a pattern master. I have got a video on how to use this tool. It really is a fantastic pattern cutting tool. It's an amalgamation of many other tools, and it's probably the thing I use the most. But you can then come in and mark on your pattern your seam allowance. And so obviously if your seam allowance is 1/2 centimetre, you'll want to be marking closer to the cutting edge. If it's 1.5 centimetres, 1.5 centimetres, or 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, whatever that is, you want to just take a ruler and measure that in before allocating that around the perimeter of your pattern. And a little bit more advanced, but we do teach this inside the atelier, depending on the pattern piece, you may end up having different seam allowances around the perimeter of your pattern. So for example, if you're making a shirt, your shirt side seams might be 1.5 centimetres for a flat fell construction, and that the neckline of the shirt might only be 1 centimetre, with the collar 1/2 centimetre to reduce bulk. So there's still discrepancies. Really important that you always cross-reference your pattern. And so we can do the same over here. I'm just pivoting my pattern master, measuring 1 centimetre all the way around. And then once you've located your seam allowance, you can then bring your pattern in, lay one on top of the other. And what you can do is through the pattern, you should be able to see the stitch line that you've just drawn on. And you just want to pivot your pattern. And when that breaks away, when that stitch line breaks away from each other, you just want to pivot it until that stitch line comes back to being aligned. So we're going to pivot that down. And then, yeah, I can see that my 2 notches and my waistline, if I move that back and forth, are aligned before pivoting this up. If there's any discrepancies, you may need to true out your seams, which just involves adding a bit of length here and there and making sure there's no awkward, nasty right angles. So walking your pattern and locating your seam allowance is the 3rd tip. Now quickly, before I share the bonus tip, if you're ready to go beyond singular hacks and little quick wins like you see on this channel, then why not come and join us inside the DPL Atelier? It's my fashion membership where we deep dive on everything in the Digital Pattern Library universe. And so if you're ready for end-to-end design process to design, draft, fit and sew your dream wardrobe, then the DPL Atelier is open, and I will link that down below in the description. Now, the bonus tip, it is a simple but a powerful one. Let's jump into it. Now, my bonus tip, and I already know some people are going to come for me in the comments, which is fine at this point. I'm fine with it. But I am here to give you the information so that you can choose your own creative process, okay? Ultimately, I'm just trying to deliver context. That is how you stick your patterns together. And I know you've just seen the ruffle tee pattern stuck together with masking tape. Masking tape, middle of the road, not offensive, it's fine. Sellotape, big no-no, makes your pins very sticky. Ideally, you don't want to be putting your pins through masking taped patterns either. The holy grail would actually be sticking them together with a glue stick. Now, it's more accurate because when you are using something like a piece of tape, if you peel that off, that tape there is already giving you maybe 0.5 millimetre in thickness. Once you start folding that down, pressing your pattern pieces together, it really can throw off your pattern accuracy, even if it's by a matter of millimetres. Now, for home sewing, this doesn't massively matter or affect you, but if you want millimetre precision, and especially if you are grading your pattern between sizes, and what I mean by this is going from a size small to a size extra large, when we grade a pattern, we don't scale it up evenly all around the pattern. So your shoulder seam doesn't get scaled as quickly as a side seam would to accommodate for a waist. Our bodies, as larger and smaller on a spectrum, aren't evenly distributed. We'd look very peculiar if that was the case. And so when you are throwing your pattern off by a matter of millimeters by using masking tape, when you come to grade it, those millimeters actually turn into centimeters on the other end of the scale, whether you're grading up or you're grading down. And so if that is part of your creative process, then you might want to swap to using glue. It is more accurate and it can't be beaten. And it's not always a case of sticking your pattern pieces together. If you're a home sewist and you've bought a print-at-home pattern, then that's one thing. But if you are drafting your own patterns, if you're making amendments, if you're doing dart manipulation and slash and spread, and we have all of these available to you inside the DPL Atelier, as I say, we deep dive into it. If you are doing these level of pattern amendments and then truing your seams out and all of the above that we've just discussed, glue will be the most accurate tool in order to manipulate them. Now, you know the information, do with it what you will. If you want to use masking tape, totally fine by me. Don't come for me. Sometimes I give rather controversial opinions, like overlocking seams in the last video. Whew. I'm just here to let you know that the option is there if you should so choose to use it. And so there we have 3 very simple and easy to implement, and yet truly professional techniques and hacks for you to start elevating your pattern drafting skills. If you'd love to practice these, I do actually have a free set of quarter scale pattern blocks. You can find them at digitalpatternlibrary.com/practice. Really handy for you to just play around with ideas here without actually cutting a lot of paper and creating a lot of waste. But it is all about flat, accurate pattern pieces, extending that grain line and locating and walking your seams. Of course, very minimal in difference, but very important if you are grading, if you are looking to have a couture finish, selecting glue over tape. I can't express enough that it's all about developing a creative process that is as unique as you are. These last few videos that I have shared have built upon that. And so if you want to take it that step further, I will link them on the screen now. I think you'll really enjoy these videos. But for now, let me know in the comments what your biggest takeaway was from this, or a little pattern cutting tip that you might have to share with the community as well. I always love hearing from other people's perspectives. For now, my friend, click like and subscribe, stay safe, keep creative. I'll catch you on the flip side.